a kid's birthday party? How? What did that look like? You didn't blow his candles out for him, did you? As an adult? Oh, I hope not, but let me tell you, some people these days just don't know what boundaries are, and nothing surprises me anymore. Happy apple picking day! Sorry guys, I'm still sick. But I couldn't skip 2 bad apple weeks in a row. I couldn't do it, you guys. I'm so sorry. But I have been very sick. But the show must go on, even if it's in 4K with no makeup on, because I'm too ill to find the motivation to do my face. So, as a reminder, if you want a chance for your stories to be featured on Am I the Bad Apple, you can send them to my subreddit, r/AmITheBadApple. And as always, we all come from different branches of the apple tree. And what that means is that we've all lived different lives and have different experiences. And those experiences are going to be what kind of internally shapes our boundaries, the details that we internalize, the things that we think are important or unimportant in a story, and that's going to look different for everybody, and that is okay. And we just keep that in mind as we discuss down in the comment section. So, without further ado, let's get started with this week's episode of Am I the Bad Apple? Let's go apple picking! Apple number 1. Am I the bad apple for refusing to help my elderly neighbor? I, 42 male, live next door to Bill, 87 male. He's been my neighbor for about 15 years, and for the past 2, I've been helping him out a lot. Groceries, rides to appointments, fixing small things around his house. Here's the problem. Bill has started treating me like his personal caretaker, and he'll call me at random hours for stuff that isn't urgent, like moving his couch or resetting his router. Last month, he called me during a work meeting because he couldn't figure out his thermostat. I told him I can't always drop everything, and he kind of blew up and said that younger people owe the elderly their time. Yeah, right. However, here's where the drama escalates. My mom, 70 female, says that I should keep helping him because someday you'll be old and hope somebody helps you. My sister, 39 female, says that I'm being cruel if I try to set boundaries. My brother, 44 male, says that Bill is being manipulative, and I need to stop feeding into that. My wife, 40 female, is furious because I keep missing dinners and family time to help and deal with Bill. And my cousin, 36 male, actually sided with Bill and told me that I was being selfish because I don't have kids at home anymore, so I should have more free time. And why wouldn't I spend it volunteering to help Bill? By the way, I don't have for all this free time. I'm literally a nurse in my 40s. One of my friends says that I should just call social services or a senior support group instead of trying to just do it all myself. So now it's pretty much me against half my family and Bill. My mom and my sister think I'm abandoning an old man who has no one else. And my wife and brother are on my side that Bill is taking advantage of me. My cousin just keeps guilt tripping me about it. I feel like I'm stuck. If I keep helping, I'm drained and my marriage is suffering. But if I stop, I'm the cold-hearted neighbor who turned his back on an old man. So, am I the bad apple for refusing to keep being my 87-year-old neighbor's on-call helper, even though so much of my family is pressuring me to cave in? I have so many thoughts on this. I have so many different independent and individual thoughts, and then putting them all together is gonna give me my opinion for you guys. So first of all, I never am gonna say that I think it's a bad thing to help someone, especially a neighbor in need, right? I know not everybody has this privilege, but I really like my neighbors, especially my neighbors across the street. They're so kind. I like them a lot. Just a really good family. I'm very blessed. And even next door to my neighbors across the street, a very sweet older couple. There have been a couple times they've come over here and asked for some help reaching things. Not that I can reach things on countertops, but I can climb and get up there a whole lot better than they can. And they're really sweet. I like this. I'm very fortunate. But I'm someone if my neighbor is older, is asking for help, if I have the time, I don't mind it, personally. I also am very much of the opinion that not everybody is as like outward with that kind of stuff as I am. Like, I'm very extroverted. I'm a people person. Like, I want to be helpful. Not everybody has those innate feelings of like, I want to be helpful. And like that doesn't make someone a bad person. I'm just a people pleaser. And like, not everyone would feel comfortable going to their neighbor's house if they don't know their neighbor very well. Like that's also a thing. I also think that if you are an older person and you're getting help from your neighbors, like being appreciative is so important. And like realizing that this is a part of, like, this help that you're getting is a part of the community that you've built. Like that's what I think is so beautiful about like neighborly assistance like that. Like it's the community that you've built, and like when someone needs something, like you can go over and ask for a cup of sugar, or can you help me get, like when I was first getting divorced, do you know how many times my neighbor, like I didn't even know what days it was half the time. Like it was a really big decision for me to make. It was really difficult for me. I didn't even know what day it was half the time, and my neighbor used to like go and pull my trash out to the curb and then put it back. And like at first I didn't even notice because I was in a daze, and then once I did, I was like, guys, thanks. Like, I love it. And like, that's the community you build. And then later on, when they were out of town and like, I don't know what happened, but their garage door just opened. I'm right over, hey, I'm gonna close this for you guys. This is dangerous. Like that's, you build the community, you know? So like being appreciative when your neighbors do help out, I think is so crucial and important. I don't like Bill's attitude of like, you owe it to me because you're younger than me to XYZ. Like, even if I was, let's say I was like so ill, I needed help. I needed to call my neighbor, and he'd be like, oh my God, please, do you have a water bottle or soup or anything? If he was like, yeah, give me some time, I'm in a meeting, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. My bad. I didn't mean to bother you while you were working. Don't worry about it. I will live another few hours. Please get work done. To be like so entitled that you're like, what do you mean you were working? Don't you know I'm calling? Like, I don't love that attitude. So to be like, for me, I would never go crabapple for like someone saying, I don't have the capacity to help my neighbor anymore, right? I just wouldn't, because I know that not everybody likes to go out of their way for people the way that I do. And I don't think that makes someone a bad person. I don't. Even though I do that, I don't think someone not doing that makes them a bad person. I would probably go crabapple just because it's not something that I would do or I agree with. And I'd probably be like, if it's an emergency, like they should probably feel like they should be able to count on you. Like that's what my opinion would be. But the fact that this neighbor is being so rude and unappreciative and just kind of entitled to, what do you have to drop everything whenever I need you? What do you mean? I don't love that at all. I don't like it in the slightest bit. And so I'm more geared towards leaning like good apple for sure. What I would probably do in this situation is look to see, like, Facebook groups are a great thing. And I know that it can be hit or miss depending on if you're in like a heavily populated area or not. Like, I'm very lucky that I live in like a very populated area. There's a Facebook group for everything, right? I would personally check to see, are there groups of people who volunteer to help senior citizens? Like, I love the idea of like calling social services and seeing if there's like, is there a program? Is there anyone? What can be done? What are the options? I love that. I think that's a great compromise. Also, like, if you have family members that are like, you have to help this guy, great, when's your shift? We can all rotate, right? Because if you were okay with helping the guy every now and then, but every day is just too much, agreed. Absolutely, for sure. Let's all do shifts then. Everyone that thinks it's important and that I'm a terrible person if I don't help out, we all take a day. We can all do one day a week, right? All reasonable. All reasonable. But if you've decided that like you don't have the bandwidth to be that person for him anymore, especially if he's not going to appreciate the time, energy, and effort that you're putting towards him, then I'm still gonna go good apple for sure. And yeah, would I probably still like run myself ragged with it? Most likely. And just because I said it's what I would do doesn't mean it's a healthy choice. I'm gonna be honest, transparent. But yeah, apple number 2. Am I the bad apple for not getting my children a kids meal? We went to a restaurant for my mother-in-law's birthday lunch. When the orders were being taken, my sister-in-law announced to the waitress that all of the kids would be having kids meal tenders with French fries and juice. Well, my kids, 9 and 4 years old, they have much bigger appetites than kids meals. 2 chicken tenders and a handful of french fries are not gonna fill them up. So when the waitress came to me, I told her that actually my kids were gonna have adult meals. Since I'm the one paying for them anyways, I wanna upgrade their meal. And if there's leftovers, great, but I want them to have the option if they're hungry. So my kids ordered their meals, and then I turned to my sister-in-law, and she looked pissed. She said that I embarrassed her and made her kids question her because she told them that everyone was getting the same thing and all the kids were all eating the same exact thing. So they were gonna eat the same thing as their cousins. And then I messed that up for her, and I guess that's my fault. Sure. Was that wrong of me? Like, am I the bad apple? No. Like, just because she wants to run her house a certain way and tell them you're gonna eat this, blah, blah, blah. Like if this was a thing of she didn't want her kids to fight with her about what they were eating, then she should have communicated that to you. But like, it's not, first of all, even if she like communicated that to you, I don't think that means that you get your kids less than the food that they need to like fill up their stomachs. Period. Like, I don't understand what made her feel entitled to try and dictate what other people's children ate that she's not paying for, and it's not her event. And like, I don't understand. I don't understand why that's your fault, and I don't understand why, like, I don't know how to put this into words. Maybe it's the fever, I don't know. But like, I find it so strange that it's an issue for her that her kids have something different than your kids. And I understand that there are gonna be parents that are like, well, some kids are like, oh, they have something different than me, I want that. That's when you teach them no, right? Like that to me is a lesson of, oh, not everyone is always gonna eat the same things. And sometimes it's because we like different things. And sometimes it's because one person needs a little bit more fuel than another person. Sometimes it's because of allergies. Like, there's a lot of ways that this could be a very simple, teachable moment about not everything in life is the exact same, not everything in life is fair, not everyone's gonna have the exact same things, not everyone can have the same things. Like, and this isn't even a big deal, it's just like chicken tenders. I don't understand why it has to be a whole issue, it's just chicken tenders. And if it was that big of a deal, why didn't, like, I feel like if a family member came to me and was like, my kids are demanding to have the same food as your kids. And I was like, oh, my kids can't eat a kid's meal, like they need more food than that. I would just ask my kids if they were okay with getting the adult-sized portion of the same meal, right? I feel like that would be a very easy compromise, but I don't, again, remember, I'm a people pleaser. I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying I have a problem. That's what I'm saying. I just have such a hard time, like, actually grasping that a grown adult who didn't say anything beforehand was like, oh, you let your kids order what they wanted? How dare you? What? Susan? Why is that any of your business? And the fact that it would cause a problem with her kids is what's like annoying to me, because just teach your kids no. Or also, why can your kids not have what they want? That's actually what I want to know. Why can your kids not order something else that they want to eat? Why does everybody under the sun, both your kids or however many kids you have, and your nieces and nephews or whatever they are, why does everyone have to eat what you want? Like, are there not other kids' meal choices? Is there not, like, if your kids eat kids' meal portions, is there something on the adult menu that they would split that they might like? Like, why? These are the questions that I'm having. Like, if the issue is that your kids don't like that, not everyone is getting kids' meals, why does anyone have to get kids' meals? Maybe I'm not making sense. Maybe I need to go I do need to go take a nap, but that's besides the point. I'm just gonna go to Apple. It's fine. Apple number 3. Am I the bad apple for telling people my father badmouthed them? My 31 female father, 68 male, decided to surprise me and get some work done on my home without my consent or desire for it to be done. Pretty much he wanted my entire bathroom to be remodeled, and I didn't feel like I needed it, but he insisted, so okay. After convincing me that he wanted to do this project for me, I finally agreed. The first couple weekends went okay. He hired a couple to get this work done. It was his nephew and his nephew's wife. It wasn't my cousins, it's step family who I have no actual contact or relationship with. But my father was over at the house being the contractor in charge, just kind of overseeing everything. Okay, fine. Every weekend they would come over and we'd get them lunch and they'd work on the bathroom, etc., etc., etc. And part of the way through the renovation, my father actually said some very unkind things about them to me and said that I needed to remember that they were employees and they're not friends or my family and that I should treat them as employees. He also added that we needed to get every penny's worth out of them. I'd been bending over backwards to make sure that they were comfortable and made some plans with the wife outside of work hours to get lunch and hang out. And she gave me some couple things for my daughter and I gave her some things for her daughter, etc., etc., etc. Here's where it might have been wrong. I'm autistic and social cues aren't my strongest suit, but I'm also a big believer in transparency. If you have something to say about someone, I think they deserve to hear it. So I ended up showing the wife what my father said about them. Well, they ended up telling my father they're no longer willing to do the work and that he needed to find someone else to do it. I later also found out that my father hadn't even been paying them and that the every penny comment really hurt their feelings because they were volunteering for this project. My father then comes to me blowing up at me for telling them what he said about them, saying that now the bathroom will have to be left unfinished and that I'm a complete insert foul language here. Since then, anytime I try to have a decent, mature conversation with him, all he does is scream vulgarities at me. Am I the bad apple here? Is it wrong to let someone know what's being said about them behind their back? Am I the bad apple? Oh, this is difficult, okay? Because I think that the norms when it comes to like strangers, co-workers, friends, family, like the norms for this situation is very different and highly dependent on your relationship with all the people, right? I think this is gonna be a complete opinion-based kind of thing. I think that there's gonna be a lot of different opinions. Let me put it that way. I think there's gonna be a lot of different opinions. So like, let me start things out. If I have someone that's like, I consider a friend, right? And someone is like, if someone is like sitting there really bad mouthing them, like trash talking this, I'm not only gonna like stop them in their tracks, but I'm gonna like let them know for sure, absolutely, because like you're my friend. And if I have two friends that are doing that, I have had that happen before. And it depends, right? If they don't like each other, like they don't associate with each other, and they just, like, for example, I have friends who dated and broke up and there are grudges, right? And there's venting on both sides. They don't associate. Why would I ever go out of my way to relay to each other the hurtful things they each say about each other? That's not doing anything. It's not helping someone get out of a bad friendship. It's not helping someone. It's only causing harm. It's only causing pain, right? For sure. When it's family, I think it gets even trickier because like, we all vent about our family. I would never call my brother about my mom ever in my whole life. And I'm not saying that because she watches my videos. Would never do that, Mom. Would never. And I know that I don't do it, but if I did and my brother repeated any of that, I would kill him. But it's like the same thing, you know, my brother calls me never about our parents. Never. But if he did, I would never repeat that either. You don't do it. And like, you know, the cousins are gonna vent about the cousins. The siblings are gonna vent about this. It's what we do. It's what family does. I would never, ever go to another family member and be like, hey, you know what my mom said about you? No, what? I don't wanna die. What? So like, I understand that you have just recently started hanging out with this girl that is the step family to your father. I think it's very not your business to get involved in their family venting and dynamics and drama. That's not your business at all. Like, my friends would never vent to me about their families. And I'm not saying that because they watch my content. They would never do that. But if they did, I'd never repeat it to them ever in my whole life. Never. No. Absolutely not. No. Do I see their family members sometimes? Yeah, I do. I'm not repeating any of that. That's my friend. No. So like, that's your dad. And I'm gonna be honest, my mom and dad have never said anything about anyone in my life ever. Not friends, not family members, nobody. My parents would never, ever vent about anyone. But if they did, I'm not telling them. Nope. Like, this isn't like some random stranger trash talking your best friend. This is like your mom sometimes says things that she probably shouldn't about your friends. Whether it's like, or even like cousins or grandparents, you never know. You don't repeat it, especially if it's like not your family dynamic to get in the middle of. Because again, everyone's family vents about each other. You think I don't know my mom doesn't sit there and vent to me, to my dad or my brother or my grandparent? Of course she does. Because I sometimes have an attitude and it be like that, okay? I know this about myself. I know it. I don't want to hear it. I know she loves me. I don't want to hear what she vents about. That's just going to hurt my feelings. We're still going to be family. They're still going to be family. Now, like, I understand that in this particular situation, because I can already hear that, I can already hear the keyboard. I understand that in this situation, your father was taking advantage of these people. And would I even say taking advantage? It's not like you were pocketing money. He asked them to do him a favor, and yeah, he was venting about them. That's crappy. Family does that sometimes. Family vents about each other if they're having a tiff. We don't know what their dynamic is. We don't know if they were having a tiff that day or that week. We don't know. What we do know is that families fight and families vent. That is a normal thing. I feel like if this was a real, genuine, toxic, like, problem, they probably wouldn't be close enough for him to ask them to volunteer to do this project, is my feeling. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's fact. I'm saying I feel like that's likely, right? You going and telling them what your dad said might have caused that kind of issue to where they don't have that kind of relationship anymore, for sure. Because families fight and families are gonna vent. That doesn't mean, like, I know you're like, oh, it's transparency. No, that's not being transparent. Like, again, I know there could be a case that in this particular situation that the dad could have been taking advantage of the couple and that this saved them from being taken advantage of. We don't know the situation. It's not like he was pocketing money, so I don't know how it would be construed as like taking advantage of. Again, there's so many details that we would need, right? You know what I mean? But in general, like, just because it's like a weird exception where it maybe just like happened to work out that way, does not mean I think it should be a general rule that like, when your family is venting about each other, you don't tell them. Don't go tell them. Just, your family's gonna vent. I'm sure you vented about family members. You know, you say that you're like very big on transparency. You might very well like vent to their faces. That might hurt some of their feelings. I guarantee, I don't know, they probably don't want you to know what they vent. I don't want, like, I'm trying to think of the last time I like vented about my brother. My brother and I have a really good relationship. The last time I got mad at him, I did like talk to him to his face. My mom, no, I went right to I mean, I don't do that. I don't get mad at my mom. I don't go to my brother about my mom. Never done that before. Didn't even do that today. Didn't happen. But if I did, Ethan would never tell Michelle because she don't want to know. She don't want to know. And that's just how most people are. That is what it is. I'm going to go, I'm really teetering between crab apple and bad apple because I know you had good intentions and like you were coming from the aspect of like transparency and honesty and not being like backstabby, things like that. And those are good intentions. However, I'm gonna go like very soft bad apple. Not because I think you have bad intentions or a bad person or anything along those lines, because I personally believe it is a hard stop rule that if family is venting, you don't repeat it. And if another family is venting about each other, you do not insert yourself into their family dynamics. And it's not like for example, if my friend's sister were sitting there trash talking my friend, I might intervene on that. But it's because my person of contact is the one that's being attacked. Your dad is the one venting to his daughter. Like, that's a level of confidentiality that's like you don't want your dad to repeat all the things that you say to him. So like, why would you repeat the things that he says to you in confidence? And he might have been out of line this time, but like in general, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's cool. Like, if my mom is venting about somebody, I'm not gonna go and like find them and track them down and be like, hey, guess what? That's not my business. Like, I'm now causing issues in other people's dynamics that has nothing to do with me. And again, like, it's very different when it's like strangers or coworkers or a friend, and like your dad having a bad day or having a bad week or venting about his family. I think it's very nuanced. It's different. So like, I think in general, the rule is to like not make this a habit. Personally, I know some people are not going to agree with me, and that's fine, but that is my opinion. Apple number 4. Am I the bad apple for ruining a kid's birthday party? My son is 8 years old and in 3rd grade. He recently got invited to a friend's birthday party at their house. Last school year, him and this friend were very close, and they started hanging out a lot outside of school. A problem arose when my son saw that he has 2 very large German shepherds, and my son is very scared of them. This family are huge dog people, but again, my son is not and is very afraid of them. Because of the dogs, I discreetly and gently found a way to work it to where the friend would come over to our house or go to a 3rd space to where my son didn't have to go to his house and be around the dogs, but they could still be friends and play. Recently, sports and extracurriculars have picked up, so there's been less time to hang out, so it kind of negates the issue as a whole. So I guess I inherently haven't had to address or avoid going to this friend's house or taking my son there. Well, now it's the birthday party of the same friend, and it's happening at his house. I asked my son if he wanted to go to the birthday, and he said, only if the dogs weren't there. I said, okay. And I broached the topic with the friend's parents, and they shut it down immediately on removing or putting away the dogs. They said it's their dog's house too. And if they put them away, the dogs will just destroy whatever room they put them in. I told them, okay, that's fine, but then my son's not gonna be attending. And they got pretty mad. The party's next weekend, but I don't feel like I have to force my son to go. So am I the bad apple? I don't think I've ever done this before. And if I have, correct me, because contrary to what some random upset, angry people say in my comment section sometimes, I know I am not always right. Like, I'm like wrong a lot. I'm just a girl. I'm gonna go no bad apples here. Like, I don't think there's any bad apples at all, personally. I think that, like, right on mom for respecting her son's fear. And I would like to know how she broached the topic with the parents. I feel like the topic of the, hey, my 8-year-old is like very scared of big dogs, not like your big dogs, but just big dogs. I think that could have been discussed in a very casual way that was not at all pointed or aggressive towards his family. And I think they would have understood perfectly, honestly. Like, I think especially if you broach it in hey, like, my son kind of shows like a lot of fear towards big dogs, and I know, like, hopefully over time that will start to dwindle and he will see how nice some of them are, but for now, like, he's afraid. So can we find other ways for them to play and hang out? And I feel like anyone would be like, no, I get that for sure, absolutely. And I think the mom, like, checking with her son, like, hey, do you want to go? The dogs are probably going to be there. It's okay if you don't. And he made that decision, and I love that she let him make that decision. And I love that she was like, okay, yeah, I support you in that, and that's fine. I can see why the other parents would get a little defensive because, again, if the dog thing hasn't been addressed before, like this being news to them, like just being told a week before the birthday, hey, my son is your son's best friend, and I know that your son wants him to come to his birthday, but would you mind, like, removing your animals when we do? Like, I can see that. What do you mean? Like, if someone were to be planning to come to my house and be like, hey, can you just, like, make sure your cats are put up? I'd be like, excuse me, this is their house. Like, I just live here. What do you mean? Like, I would also be very thrown off guard because anyone who knows me, like, I don't think you understand. Like those of you who follow me on platforms where I can like post stories, like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, most of my stories are like the cats. You don't understand. That doesn't even cover the amount of crazy cat lady I am. Like my friends on Discord are like tired of hearing about my cats. They just are. So like if someone just out of the blue were like, hey, I'm coming over this weekend, can you make sure your cats aren't around? I'd be like, I'm sorry, whose house are you coming to? What do you mean? I would also be confused, especially if it was someone that I've hung out with a lot regularly and had been to my house before. Like I would be very confused, right? And I think that like being confused and being like, yeah, no, we're not putting the dogs away, like that's also fine. Like I don't think that's a bad apple choice. Like I'm someone who believes like your house is also your animal. Like if you're going to adopt animals, they're your chosen family. This house is their house too. This is where they live. This is like the world to them. Like my cats, they don't go outside. This is their planet, this house. This is it. This is all they get in like the screen and porch. That's it. So like I don't think putting your animals away all day for a birthday party, especially if you know they don't do well in those kinds of situations, I don't think that makes anyone a bad apple. Like even moving, locking my cats in a room for movers to get furniture, like they were screeching. Like I've never seen a shut door in my entire life. What is, I don't understand. Like they know the shut door to outside because Vixie always tries to run out of it and Milo says no thanks. Why would I go outside when there's no mommy outside? That's my good boy. But I'm rambling. I'm rambling right now. I don't think anyone is a bad apple. I think it's an unfortunate circumstance. I think that there has not been enough communication around this issue, but I don't think anyone's a bad apple for it. This is a very long overdue conversation. It's happening at an inconvenient time. Everyone's a little caught off guard and doesn't really know how to maneuver, but that doesn't mean anyone did anything wrong, in my opinion. So, no bad apples. All right, so let's see, what did I get? I need to go take a nap. I got 2 good apples, a bad apple, and then no bad apples here. At least that's what I got. Let me know if you got anything similar or different, or I just love hearing your thoughts and opinions. And as always, if you want a chance for your stories to be featured on Am I the Bad Apple, you can send them to my subreddit, r/AmITheBadApple. And for your well wishes today, oh my gosh, these are actually good. I like these a lot. Okay, so we have National LED Light, which is great because that's right. It's sitting right on top of my camera. So great. I love it. Also LEDs, like fun fact, when I was still in the classroom, LED lights were the only little like string lights that we could have because the Christmas lights, they were a fire hazard because the bulb would get hot and that was dangerous. So we always had like the LED light up rooms in my classroom. It is also National Chocolate Covered Pretzel Day. Love that. That's what I need to get over my cold. For sure. And it's also National Inner Beauty Day. Oh, this is a day where like you could very easily celebrate all 3 of these things. I like this a lot. But if I have to pick one, I'm going with inner beauty because I think that is so important. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope to see y'all next week. Bye, my lovelies. Mwah.